What is up, most distinguished patrons of this channel? Today we are going to do a video on how to weld stupidly thin material with stick welding. So with that said, let's get into it. So right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little bit under the weather, or well, I have been for the past 3-4 days. I don't know what the deal is, but every December, like clockwork, I get a little bit of a cold, feel like junk for a couple days. And today I just had enough. I'm like, I got to get out of the house, got to get into the tin shed and do something. So that something is going to be this video. This video is kind of motivated by a couple comments I got recently dealing with people wanting to know how to stick weld super thin material like sheet metal. I had a bunch of comments like, well, is it possible, or wanting tips on how to do it. And the truth is, this is probably my least favorite thing to do. And I'll tell you a quick story and then we'll move on to actually how to do this. I ended up welding a shock tower in on a Ford Escape, and stick welding was all I had. And the material was somewhere around 24 gauge or 22 gauge. Long story short, all I had was a stick welder and 1/16 rods. And I'm telling you, I got so frustrated doing it that I threw the stinger. I almost picked the welder up and threw it. Like, the most frustrated I've ever been while welding was that job. Looking back, I should have just went to Harbor Freight and got a flux core self-shielded wire welder for like 130 bucks and did it. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, why I thought I could do it with stick. After a certain point, it was kind of like, I'm just going to prove that I can do it. And my recommendation is don't do this. Like, especially auto body where you have some rust and crust and some paint and you can't clean it good enough. It's not like this where, yeah, this is 22 gauge or 030. Actually, it's pretty loose in there. It's almost 24 gauge. I'll put up the metric measurement now. This stuff is so thin, but at least this is clean material. Like, half the thickness isn't paint and there's no rust. If you're trying to do this thin with rust and paint, forget about it with stick. My honest opinion, I hate to tell anyone that, but go and get yourself a self-shielded flux core wire welder, or even better yet, 023, 024 wire with a MIG machine, and weld this stuff with that. Don't be screwing around with stick welding with this. So with that disclaimer that you're probably not going to listen to out of the way, you really have two options to stick weld this junk. And this is my opinion: 6011 1/16 rods, or 1/16 6013. These, for whatever reason, don't say 6013. They just say fix it pack from Forney, or however you say it. But 1/16 rods are going to be your go-to. Now, personally, I do not like the 6013 rods in this size, because when you try and lower the amperage below, I don't know, 35 amps, what ends up happening is you just get slag inclusions. You can't see what you're welding, and it's miserable. I think today I'm going to have better luck with the 6011 rods, simply because you don't have slag inclusion problems. Now, I responded to one of the viewer comments questioning how to do this, and my response was don't do it, but then I also told him something else that's very important in this. And that is, you have got to have a really good stick welder to even attempt this. I'm going to be doing this with my Miller Dynasty, which is predominantly a TIG welder, but it can stick weld. And the benefit of that machine is I can stick weld at 25 amps. I have a feeling that I'm going to be down below 30 amps to get an acceptable weld on this stuff. And if your stick welder simply doesn't go low enough, then you can forget about even attempting this. It's going to be a game of, weld a 1/4 inch, you got a hole. Okay, you chip the slag off, clean it, you weld the hole, you got a bigger hole. Now you got a bigger hole, and then once you get that hole shut, it's just going to reappear, 1/8 of an inch away anyways. So it's one of those things where you have got to have the low end on your machine to even make an attempt at this. So with that said, the setup I'm going to use to attempt this, to see if it's even possible, I already mentioned we're using 22 gauge. I'm going to try and run beads on flat plate, and this is a starting point you should try and use as well. I'm going to see if I can get a full bead on this and make it work just on the bare plate while it's on a heat sink like this. Now, keep in mind, it's about 15 to 18 degrees in this tin shed. I don't have the heat on or anything. I don't know if you can see my breath, but it's colder than shit in here. And the heat sink of this table will probably help blowing holes from this. So I'm gonna get things dialed in to where it works on this heat sink, and then I'm gonna take this plate, hang it off the end where it's not on here, and see if I can make a, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 inch long weld without blowing a hole through it. Once I'm confident I can achieve that with one of these two rods, I'm gonna go and attempt a lap weld on this. A butt weld, I'll tell you what, if you have even a whisper of a gap, you're going to have a hole in it. So good luck with that. A fit up on a butt weld's got to be really good. But what I'm going to do is start by doing a lap weld. I think the success rate of that will be better. If I can achieve a decent lap weld, I will attempt a butt weld or maybe a fillet weld. But it's one of those things, I don't know how successful I'm going to be at this, because I'm not joking. This is a pain in your rear end to even attempt. So with that said, I'm going to go get my welder fired up, get things set up, and start welding on this flat plate. So let's talk about this plate that I welded here. I screwed around with a couple different amperages and both 6011 and 6013 rods. Now, I know you're like, Jesus, this looks rough, and you're absolutely right. It's a fine balance between making holes and making a weld, and the travel speed has to be absolutely dialed in for this to work. Now, there's something that will drastically help your chances at doing this, and it's called stick stuck. Some welders, stick welders, have a feature where when it detects that the rod is shorted out and there's no voltage, it cuts the output out. I noticed with that 6013 rod, it was so easy when you're trying to hold that minuscule arc that it would just stick and it would cut out. Well, luckily, the machine I'm running on would just basically cut the current and I could break the rod right off. If you didn't have that kind of a control, this is going to be unbelievably frustrating, because basically either you're going to make holes or you're going to stick the rod. Now, I fooled around between 25 and 30 amps, and on this base plate, I found that the sweet spots for 6011, and this is, I believe, 6011 right here, was somewhere around 26 amps. The problem is at that low of amperage, it was very easy for the arc to wander in front of the direction you're traveling and not push back at that slag. And what would end up happening is the arc would wander. It stabilized better at 30 amps. The problem is that it was just a lot hotter, a lot wider of a weld. And for just this thin a material to run a bead, it just wasn't going to work. Now, based on my prior experience with welding thin material together, I know that what appears hot on here is probably just the right amount of amperage to weld two pieces together, because it will take more heat. So I knew the fact I could even run a bead with any rod on this was pretty good, and that I would be able to weld two pieces together fairly easily, penetration-wise, all the way through. And that's what you're going to expect. There is no such thing as low penetration on this thin a material. So I was pretty confident, even as ugly as this junk looked, that I could probably make a weld. And let me show you what I came up with. So this is 6011, my first shot. I was fairly successful for an inch or so, and then it's so difficult to get it to wet out to this top plate without just blowing it away. I tried a couple different rod angles, but I was successful somewhat. I'm sure with more practice, I could probably make it look pretty good the whole length, but that arc wandering issue, it's still going to be an issue. Again, you know, dialing in amperage, this I was at about 26 amps, and that seemed to be okay. Anything more than 30 amps, and it's just going to blow holes through it. This is 6013. There's still some slag I didn't clean, I see there. This was easier to weld as far as not blowing holes. The problem is this rod likes to stick. At 25 amps, it just wasn't enough. It kept sticking the rod. I'd have to restart. Here's a disaster of the second one that I tried. I tried boosting amperage, and once again, the 6013 here, it just did not want to weld. It kept sticking the rod, and I would just blow through the edge of the plate. I mean, this was a no-go. So 30 amps is roughly what this was at. That's no bueno. Over here with the 6011 at about 30 amps, it ran easier. The problem is that, well, it almost completely undercut this top lip. And I know I didn't clean the slag off. It's really stuck on here, but it just undercut like a bastard on there. So that's once again no bueno. And I kind of expected that. So both of these rods under conventional circumstances are pretty tough to get decent results because the amperage it takes to stabilize the arc and get things to work well is the amperage it takes to blow through it. So it's a real fine edge there. And that's why for the last welds, I pulled a trick out of my sleeve and I ran what's known as DC electrode negative. For the previous welds, I did all on DCEP, which is what you normally should run these rods on. Well, by switching to negative polarity for the stinger, you actually reduce penetration significantly. But the overall appearance of this, yeah, it looks like a cold bead of caulk, but it did penetrate a little bit on the back side. I mean, there's a crease there and a couple sort of melt through points. So this, I would say, is easy enough to do that if you have a machine that can go down to 30 amps, 25 to 30 amps, and you run this DC electrode negative and use 6013. I did not try electrode negative 6011. It likely would work with these little rods. It's worth trying, but the success here, this is probably the most doable out of all of them. Well, what did we learn today? Well, we learned that it is possible to weld 22 gauge with 1/16 rods. Skill-wise, I think this is probably within the realm of what an, medium experienced stick welder could do. I mean, if you enjoy frustration, you just love it, and you love, making holes that you have to fill, be my guest. Give this a shot and try and get good at it. But the truth is, this type of material is really meant to be TIG welded or 023, 024 MIG welded, or even flux core like 030 flux core would make this somewhat trivial. I mean, it would still be difficult with that, but it wouldn't be as hard as this. And this video, if anything, should really stand as a testament that, yeah, skill and a good piece of equipment can get the job done, but you got to set yourself up to make things easy, and this is far from easy. And keep in mind, I did these welds and these plates were fairly cold from sitting on here. If you were doing this like on auto body, good luck. That's all I can say. You would be swearing as much as I was when I did that shock tower. I promise you that. So with that said, if you got any comments, questions on this, or you yourself have done this disastrous deed and you want to share advice to people, feel free to leave your horror stories in the comments. So with that said, take care until next time.